Welcome to Village Vibes, the podcast that tells you all about what's going on in the city of Delray Beach. I'm your host, Gina Carter, and today we have our Parks and Rec Director, Sam Metott, with us to talk a little bit about the many park enhancements that have been happening over the last few years. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Sam, how long have you been with the city? Tell me a little bit about your background and how you came to public service here in Delray Beach.
I've been the director of Delray Beach now for 6 years, and I started here about 8 years ago as the assistant director. Background in Parks and Recreation of about 20 years in a number of different municipalities here in South Florida, and fortunate enough to be here in Delray Beach. I was just in love with sports. Sports and recreation was a new degree coming through college curriculums when I was coming into the university settings, and I just fell in love with that entire process. It really blended business and sports together. And if you think about it, Parks and Recreation is a number of different businesses, operations, still includes all those sports elements. And what I found the most rewarding the whole time is how many lives you impact on a day-to-day basis. If you think about every park and every kid playing sports and everybody walking or just enjoying a park every single day, like you affect thousands and thousands of people. So I always found that to be really, really rewarding.
So tell us a little bit about the many enhancements to our parks over the last, let's say, 8 years, and how those enhancements really are vital to improving the quality of life for our residents and how they also attract visitors.
We've done so many improvements. It'd be hard to list them all, but one of them that we're most proud of inside the department is our playground initiative, where we've replaced over a dozen playgrounds in the last 5 years. People are always surprised to realize how many. We have almost 30 playgrounds throughout our park system. To rebuild a playground is an entire process. It's very expensive. It's time-consuming. A lot of construction involved. So to do a dozen playgrounds in an 8-year span is a lot. It's really almost unheard of. But what we're proud about is that we've been able to bring not just new playgrounds and replacement playgrounds, but playgrounds that go above and beyond what you'd expect when you visit a park. If you go see this amazing internal climber at Curry Commons or this really, really futuristic slide out at Barwick Park, just as a couple of examples, they go above and beyond what you'd expect at a local municipal playground and really enhance what people feel when they go to our park system and bring their kids out to enjoy. And we're not done. We have another one coming online at Carver Square Park this summer. So we continue to move forward with that project and really bringing unique and cool, fun play spaces for our kids.
What I love about your parks, too, is not just the really innovative playgrounds that you have brought to the city, because they're really not like your 1980s playgrounds, right?
Exactly,
they're like
yeah.
next level. They're very futuristic. They're really interesting. But beyond those amazing playgrounds, you guys have also done a lot of butterfly gardens and pollinator gardens and things that can also serve as, educational spaces for our families. Can you talk a little bit about those initiatives?
Yeah, and they kind of go hand in hand, right? So what we've done is every time we renovate one of those playgrounds, we try to build a butterfly garden within proximity. It's part of that project to bring in color, but also the sustainability portions. That's been a real big hit. We bring wildflowers in. We've done a number of wildflower gardens that people are just raving about throughout our park system. And it goes further. For being an urban municipal beach setting, people don't always realize that we have over 13 miles of walking trails. And we go even further in some of our nature preserves, like a Leon Weeks, a number of turtles in there that we do a lot of new signage in, explaining about the turtles and the wildlife. We do a lot of invasive species removal. So there's all these sustainable elements. So, butterflies, bees, bats, and that's a really fun element to bring in. Like you said, the information and education component of that is bringing in just really nice, visually appealing signage to explain all that, make that walk along those paths that I mentioned just an enjoyable thing where you're learning and experiencing that nature element, even here in a smaller urban setting.
Yeah, and our city is so unique because it has so many parks, and I almost feel like residents that have lived here for many years may not even have visited all the parks yet. They may not even know about the nature trails, so it's always like there's something more to discover.
Absolutely. And in fact, we do our own scavenger hunts sometimes where we send our staff out to different parks where even certain staff, within their role, maybe never knew this small park in another part of the town existed. And we have a lot of fun with that. We have over 56 park properties throughout the city.
some of these park enhancements were coming online at a time when we really needed them as a city, right around COVID, where people were really stuck indoors, and these parks started to, get these enhancements, get these, these glow ups, for lack of a better term, right?
I like that.
Yeah, so they're getting these glow ups, and people are really going out there for their mental health, for their physical health, to enjoy these natural and, recreational spaces within our city. How important was it to get these things online right around that COVID period?
Absolutely critical. I think with every cloud has a silver lining. I think there was no better time in my professional career that people realized the significance of what a park was and what it meant to you on a day-to-day. The moment you couldn't any longer, you realized, wow, it has such an impact on thousands of people's lives, because they were clamoring for their park spaces back to open and back to the playgrounds being available. So how much that meant to us. But if you think about that time and it was on the news every day, if a municipality opened a park, it was a big deal. So, we bring the kids out to the park for after-school sports, or you're visiting a community center for a program or a special event even. Those enhancements have only drawn more. We mentioned the Curry Commons one, and it's a good example where a new playground, what it did is it made the park vibrant. And now from morning to the evening, there's people there throwing ball around, they're playing on the playground, they're running in the open fields. It's gone hand in hand. We work very closely with our other departments like Public Works, who has done an entire Osceola Park improvement district area, with new roads, landscaping, lighting throughout that entire community. So it kind of went hand in hand with this park and how it's opened up that community, and the people are just really, really happy over there with that park. And that's just one example of the many parks we're talking about.
I think, for a lot of us, we know that our beach is kind of like the envy of other cities.
It's nice, yeah,
it's a beautiful,
absolutely.
Natural coastline. But I think our parks are also the envy, for other cities, because we have so many. They're so beautiful, and they have that wonderful mix of playing space, natural space, and all of that really is due to you and your team working so hard over the last 5-8 years on this project. Tell us what's on the horizon. What other parks, what other initiatives are you bringing forward?
We have two major initiatives coming in the future. First and foremost is the biggest renovation in probably our parks program history, and that is an all-new community center and facility over at Pompey Park. The CRA has been super generous, and they're moving forward. Thank you to the commissions past and present, because this new Pompey Park community center, pool, and new playground spaces is going to be an amazing renovation there. And then we're looking to break ground by the end of the year here in 2025. So we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be a phased approach. It's going to take a few years for a park that size to be completely renovated. But that's the future, is Pompey Park's big renovation, and how great that park's going to be when we're all said and done.
So much to look forward to there.
Yeah. And then the second one is we were fortunate enough last year to receive approval through the bond referendum, general obligation bond. The community voted in really good numbers in support of our parks bond, and it's over $20 million of future improvements to our park system. That's building for the future. All the things we've mentioned previously with our enhancements and improvements, the separate program separate construction project we have at Pompey Park, to then be able to infuse the $20 million bond referendum, improve all the things we're kind of mentioning, the other playgrounds that haven't been touched, some other parks, shade structures on our playgrounds, artificial turf at a number of our fields. So those two things are the future of Parks and Rec here in Delray Beach, and we're really, really excited about that.
Thank you so much for joining me, Sam. That was so great to learn about all these different initiatives that you have coming online, and especially Pompey Park, which is going to be really exciting and really significant for our city.
Thank you again.